morning. We are smack in the middle of a week, Wednesday, the 29th of July, 2026. We are 2 days away from the end of July. I cannot believe it. Can you believe it? I cannot. You're tuned to Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women. Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. My name is Fumi Bangbala, and I'm here with
Hassanek Matla, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. This is the Daily News Review this morning program where we run through the headlines and then thankfully our analyst is also here, bright and early, joining us as we tackle, the really, really juicy ones this morning. All right, let's get into it. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us on the go via our website www.wfm917.com, and you can listen to us. Oh, I have said YouTube and the website. Our phone lines will be open shortly, but in the meantime, you can send your text messages to Nima. What's the number to text?
07031 or 08155 917 917.
That is right. So you want to be part of the conversation. I should sound this note of warning. Please, no insults. Please, we had a little incident yesterday. I'm not going to rehash it, but please, no insults. Please, no disrespect. Please, please, please. Everybody here is a valued member of the Daily News Review family and is a valued member of Women Radio as well. So what we will not collect is disrespect. You are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to how you feel. Your feelings are valid. But when you are going to be talking about your feelings, please make sure that you are saying it with wisdom, with respect. Let it not be divisive or inciting and insultive. I hope I have made that clear. All right, let's get into it. Nima, over to you. Starting off with the Punch newspaper.
FG overshoots borrowing limit as new debt reaches 12.62 trillion naira.
Hmm. We are
A,
going to talk about that with our analysis word because I'm just like, what? What? But go ahead.
A court restores ADC Atiku Mark Adeleke celebrate.
Yes, this happened yesterday. So the powers that be, those were affected by the decision, the earlier decision to deregister them, are obviously excited and with good reason. In the Guardian newspaper, we have Ogun Central APC ticket not in doubt, says Senator Salisu. I think what really, let me just tell you something, Nima. Whatever you're doing in life, make sure that you're doing it with the audacity of a Nigerian politician, because I have not seen this kind of audacity before. I started off this year saying that it's the audacity of some wiki that I'm going to be moving. But I think that the Nigerian politicians, because the boldness and the confidence with which they talk about, um, oh, this is what is going to happen. Oh, what is it again? We have guaranteed 10 million votes. Oh, we have guaranteed 5 million votes. The audacity they talk about it, Nima, whatever we're doing in this life, we must move through this life with the audacity of who? A Nigerian politician. Because they've probably looked up, looked down, said, you know what? Yeah, I got this in the bag. I have. Okay.
Especially those in Ogun States now. I'm like,
It's ridiculous.
anyway, when
It's
they say Ogun Central, is this person's son? Is that person's son? Well,
it is really wild. Okay, two surveillance aircrafts arrive in Ibadan to enhance statewide security. My question is, what about nationwide security? Yesterday, we talked about Borno, how some kids are still in captivity in Borno. Children, or same children that were kidnapped on the same day as the kids from Oyo were like, what is going on? But it is well with Nigeria. Go ahead, Nima.
moving on to the This Day newspaper, set aside personal interest, unite behind party. Dogara begs angry APC aspirants. APC raids riot act to warring factions in Anambra, threatens troublemakers in state.
Okay, moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper, we have ex-local government chair returns to tailoring after losing seat. Look, this might sound funny, but I actually like it because the seat that you win is not your right, it's not your inheritance. So if you were doing something before you got into politics, you should be able to return it without fear of being seen as, oh, you were demoted. You've served, you've done the needful. That's it. Keep it moving. Yeah. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, respect to him because most of our politicians they want to. It's almost like a do or die affair to remain in politics because they don't know. It's like
At
if
this
I was
point, it feels like we are serving them and not them serving us.
basically well said exactly. Oh well, okay. Next up we have Tinubu. INEC is neutral. Opposition only crying wolf. We will get into that with our analysts as well this morning.
Moving on to the Vanguard, hunt down perpetrators who killed 30 in Kaduna, Tinubu to security agencies. Fresh Benue attacks leave 16 dead, many wounded.
Oh my gosh. This is well. In the Premium Times newspaper, we have I quit as your lawyer since 2023, but remain IPOB counsel Ejiofor Des Nnamdi Kanu. There's been a back and forth between Nnamdi Kanu and his lawyer, so we are just watching it as it unfolds. All the best to everybody involved, or like I would say to everybody. Nigeria blessed with gas, no family should use firewood for cooking. But sir, Mr. Minister, sir, do you know how much they're selling gas? Because it's one thing to say, oh, Nigeria is best to use it. Most of you don't even know how much a kilogram of gas is. Most of you don't know. Because if you know that when you go to the gas station, some people don't buy full the 12.5. They tell you I'm over at 6,000 because they cannot afford the 12,000. As at the last time I checked, it was 2,000 naira per. Last time I bought it, it was 2,000 naira per kg. Okay, okay. Moving on to the next newspaper.
IGP's visit to Benue, a new step to tame insecurity. 2027, presidency must remain in South, Forum insists.
This is what I mean. Everybody's insisting. Everybody. I'm not hearing. I'm not hearing. Oh, Nigerian citizens must enjoy dividends of democracy. I'm not hearing it.
We
I'm
should
not hearing.
decide.
I'm not hearing Nigerian citizens must start buying fuel at 200 naira per liter. I'm not hearing that. But everybody is forming, oh, Tinubu this, oh, that. I'm not for or against so that nobody comes for me this morning. But if you come for me, I'm more than able. You already know. But I'm just saying that all these bold statements that are being made, and yet we're not seeing anybody check like speaking on behalf of the masses. When they speak on behalf of the masses, we know that something else is there because it's not genuine. It's like, oh, the masses can come, but that's not actually what you're. You know what? Let's keep it moving. In the case of the newspaper, we have Martin Abaso declares 2027 Imo governorship bid, says mandate delayed, not denied. Okay, federal government to establish housing finance authority to boost affordable home ownership. This home ownership thing, we sort of like talked about it on her lens, and I'm glad that Wiki is even here yesterday when I was saying that a 30-year-old, that was 2 days ago, I was saying that a 30-year-old cannot even boast of a house. We're still struggling or on what are they calling it? 2 million naira, 3 million naira for a mini flat. That's the struggle right now. So like if you see a 3 million naira apartment, go shop right here. The other last month, no, this month, earlier this month, we had some coppers come and they were looking for accommodation. Um and we now started asking, okay, how much is house in Arepo? And somebody literally said, oh, don't ask, don't Arepo is expensive. I was
No
like, no.
go area.
I was like, no, now, how much is the Arepo? Then they started telling me how much it was, and I was in shock. And not that I'm looking down on Arepo or anything, I just really thought that Arepo was cheap. Oh, no, no, I'm not saying cheap. Cheap can be seen as derogatory. Was affordable. Turns out that it's not. Michael, our engineering head of engineering, was saying it's better for you to go to Mowe, and I was like, I don't understand. Even people in the Mowe, I gathered, are also complaining about the amount of how much rent is. Now, in other countries, in Western countries, we see that some of them buy houses on credit, loan facilities, credit facilities. At least, if you even make that one available for somebody, somebody can even say they have house. Because if you are at age 40 and you don't have a house at age 40, meanwhile, in your father's days, in our parents' days, most of them had houses to themselves. It's just so painful. I'm not even going to lie. There was a year that I was looking for. I said to my husband, okay, you know what? Let's get into this housing thing. So we decided to try rent to own the facility. But as with the bad behavior of Nigerians, Otibaleje, so the company that wanted to go through, now when it was our turn, now said they were the ones that came to my woo also. Let me just add there. But then when it was our turn, they now said, oh, sorry, we've stopped that facility. By now, I could have been like, so rent to own is, instead of you paying rent to your landlord, you're paying it to the house that you're in. So you get an apartment that you can afford within your tax or income bracket, and then you can now, what you call it, start paying. So if your rent was, maybe it is maybe 1.5, rather than paying to the landlord, you're paying it to the company. It is well. Okay. In the Daily Post.
Bandits raid Zamfara Polytechnic rector's residence. Kill guard abducts other residents.
Hmm.
Bridges not meant for hawking, scavenging. Kano government warns as enforcement begins.
Yeah, in the Tribune newspaper. And here's the thing: you're saying that the bridges are not meant for hawking or scavenging, yet you have not made any alternative available for people who want to sell. People are trying to make their ends meet. People are just trying to survive. You've not made an alternative for them. Same with the housing. You chase people from a particular place, and then you have not made an alternative for them. Sometimes you say, "Oh, the houses were illegal," but when they started building on those illegal lands or putting up illegal structures on those lands, you did not stop them. We know what we're doing. Tribune newspaper 2027, Oyo APC aspirants fault Ali's claims, demand credible consensus candidate. Also on the Tribune newspaper, we see Nigeria is at war. Tinubu has no strategy to end it, says Vega Hashim. This is something that our analyst Sumbo keeps on saying. She kept on saying it from last year before we got into the thick of the insecurity. It is well. Okay, over to you, Nima, for the last one.
Finally, from the pen pushing, the manifesto begins nationwide initiative to strengthen survivor-led movement to end gender-based violence.
Mhm.
Armed robbers invade community in Ogun State, kill female students, injure rather three others.
Those are the headlines this morning from the dailies. We are just going to slide right into speaking with our analyst. Oh, my video wasn't on. Good morning, Buki. How are you? Hi, Buki. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Buki is doing great. Thank God. I got the vibe this morning, the energy.
Yeah, I didn't even know my video was on. You'd have been seeing on my faces. I just cut there and I saw that my video was on. How are you this
Yeah,
morning?
good morning. Yeah, I'm fine. And also to all our listeners, newspaper review family on Wednesday, I want to say good morning, everybody. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Now let's get into it. Oh, hey. So starting off with, I'm trying to see which one to go to. Okay, let's start with the EFCC one because I just thought this was so interesting. EFCC faces credibility questions over asset auction. Where I started seeing that maybe EFCC is no longer the top body anymore is when any small thing is the ICPC, any small thing ICPC, any small thing ICPC. So now the FCC has come under fresh scrutiny over its decision to auction seized vehicles through a platform it intends to manage, with the Nigeria Association of Auctioneers accusing the anti-graft agency of undermining transparency, accountability, and due process in the disposal of forfeited assets. They said allowing the EFCC to investigate financial crimes, seize assets, retain custody of them, and subsequently conduct their sale amounts to a conflict of roles capable of eroding public confidence in the assets recovery process. Now, it goes without saying that there's been EFCC have been getting a lot of flack saying that they are biased. That sometimes when cases come to them, they don't, what do you call it? Go through due process. It's like the people, certain people feel the heavy hand of the law or the heavy hand of AFCC when it comes to certain things, and then some people don't. They also feel like, oh, the EFCC is biased because sometimes they look the other way, then put it that way when it comes to these things. But here we're seeing that um EFCC is supposed to be a crime agency, right? And they're supposed to be the ones, in charge of prosecuting, in charge of seizing assets. But at the same time, what this association of auctioneers are saying is they also cannot play custodian of the assets, right? You can't be the one to seize and you can't be the one to set up. That is against the process. Some people believe that if you're the one doing it, is it possible that you're selling it back to people that you seized it from? I mean, it's up and down. That's the only way. So, Buki, as a nation builder, what say you? Because because with the police are the ones that arrest, but they're not the ones who convict and stay judgment. That's handed over to the judiciary, right? So, is this association, the association of auctioneers, would you say they're correct in their submission that the EFCC, there's hanky panky or something going on there?
Okay, well, let's try and analyze it.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the Association of Registered, what do they call them now? Auctioneering.
Yeah.
Because what's the name? The registered auctioneers. Yeah. Let me use that word. Yeah, let me use that word. Uh, Now they're now saying that the EFCC does not have the legal standing. Let me use that to sell the assets that are recovered. Well, what does the Act of EFCC says, right? Maybe we can start from that because we are looking at the point of, can an agency investigate, seize, they manage, they prosecute, right? And they dispose. But the question is, how do they dispose that? I think that is the question to unravel. And can someone start a process and end the process? You just
Mhm.
mentioned um, the
The
police
police.
now. Do you understand that? Yes, they can arrest, and then at some point they hand it over to the judiciary community, because there is a law. They cannot they cannot send you to jail. They have to hand you over to those who have, the the power to do that because they are the custodian of the law. They know what is right or what is wrong. Yeah, it depends on what the act that brought EFCC, into power. EFCC's Act says yes, they can investigate, they can arrest, they can seize, they can forfeit once they get the court orders, right? But I think it was not expressly stated there that who must be the auctioneer,
Mm-hmm.
be the auctioneer. And where some things are not expressly stated, your best bet would be to go to the court because they will be the one that will interpret it. And that also depends on where the judge is looking at.
Yeah.
It is not expressly stated, it's not white, it's not black. You understand? So in such instance, you take it to the court, so that they will have to interpret it the way it is, and probably stand on existing orders or existing cases, and the court, all the things that they do and all that. But let us also now look at, even there is this act, the proceeds of crime,
Mm-hmm.
poker 2022, which gives a framework, for them to work. But I did a little bit of investigation. Yes, you can, they will sell, but it's still not expressly stated there who should conduct the sale. You understand? Because I read somewhere that yes, EFCC says this is the act that they're working with, but in there, it's not expressly. Express means that, okay, if Bookie um, sees a property, Bookie can dispose, right? But disposal how? So it will be okay. Disposal through Fumi should actually sell or something like that. It's ambiguous, right? But however, let us look at what this association is saying,
Yes.
and that is where I want to camp around. They are saying that there had been an MOU, there had been an agreement with them. Now, this association, right? They are to regulate the auctioneering profession. So they are to protect the company, the public from unethical practices and ensure that the only people who are to go about an auctioneering process are those that they have duly registered, so they become licensed professionals in handling disposal. So that is their job, is backed by law, right? And they have people that have gone through the institute and they are professional auctioneers. And they have sat down to sign an MOU. They have an agreement. From what I read, they have asked them, to go get a portal. So some of them have actually done that, and they have set machineries in motion. And this is not even the first time this case is coming up. I understand it came up, during the last regime or something like that, and it was stopped. So why is it now rearing its head again? So I want to camp around that if there had been a contractual agreement that, what, you are the people that know how to do this job very well. Can we come together? We hand
Mm-hmm.
over this. There will be a framework, there will be a guidance, because of course there is an MOU, so there's an understanding, your own expectations, my own expectations, and things like that. And of course, because they are professionals in auctioning, they will actually have a process whereby the whole process is transparent and all that. If truly they have signed and that MOU has not expired, because I noted that well, for EFCC to do this, and if they have signed a contractual agreement, why are they now doing this? Is it that the tenor on the MOU has expired, right? If it has not expired, then they have the right to go to court, because it is the court that is the last place to
Yeah.
resolve such things. Yeah. But if it has expired, then I guess we probably have to go back and renegotiate and see. However, we also need to look at it from EFCC's position. Why would EFCC decide to do this? Is it that they had looked at the previous ways of handling it and they're not happy, right? I understand there are lots of assets to be sold, so it's a whole lot. I understand it's over 800 forfeited vehicles that are there,
Yeah.
so it's a whole lot rolling into billions of money. So yeah, and where there's money, everybody will have to be looking to look at, what can I take out of this and all that. Yeah, but let us look at EFCC's position. It's possible. It's possible. I have not sat with them, but I'm just thinking that maybe they've looked at it that going via electronic auction would be better. It minimizes interference. Though, on the other hand, the association is saying that some auctioneers bidded and they were giving that position,
Mhm.
and they have an MOU with them, and they have gone ahead to set up a portal. So that is still electronic way of doing the transaction. But anyway, we are just putting things in proper perspective now so that we can arrive at a point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's possible EFCC is also looking at the fact that with technology, I mean, except you go behind the scenes to tamper with it, it's transparent. They have listed all the vehicles, and they will give you a space where you want to auction, and maybe it's the highest bidder or whatever that will pick it. So everybody sees it. Though at the back end, or I don't know how they have done it, right? Then of course the bidding is online, so it's not secluded, because to be honest, there are some biddings that you just see on paper. You understand? But by the time you get to that day, they'll say, "Oh, it has finished." Meanwhile,
Yeah.
at the weekend, you know, the so-called higher powers have already
Yes.
had the
And
whole.
that's what they're saying, yes.
Yeah, it's possible that those are the things that they are looking at, and they're saying, you know what stops us? After all, it is not expressly stated in our act that we cannot auction these things. We can actually do that, right? It's possible that is where they are looking at, and then maybe it's a faster way for them to dispose. If they're going through a third party person, the person would also do his own processing, and possibly before they get the money. I do not know.
Yeah.
They probably have a reason why they are saying, you know what, I think we need to look at these things, continuous improvement, or it's possible that they're looking at it from the angle of these things are not done properly. They could have more value on the forfeited assets, and things like that. So the question is, who is legally right?
Yeah.
EFCC statutory has the authority to recover, manage, and dispose, because this selling forfeited asset is not illegal. The question here is who, right? On the other hand, the association also is concerned. One, they had signed MOU, and like I said, we do not know if that MOU has expired, but at least there is an agreement. There's something that binds them together, even if it has expired. I believe that a lawyer is there to know that, oh, this MOU is expiring in 2026, so we need to begin to renew. In fact, they should have even done that since 2025, if that is the case. But if it has not expired, then they have the right, to go to court, and prove their case. I mean, they'll look at all the all the legalities in it and come
Yeah.
up with their own this thing. Yeah. But however, from a governance perspective, what should we be looking at? Can we build strong institutions?
Uh,
Just like we have the separation of powers, even with the legal framework, it is not good for someone to start and end it. Even in business, we talk about that. That's why you talk about policies, right? And then also, why do we have even the three arms of government? It's because of separation of power.
yeah.
Because when power is concentrated in one person, ah, you can imagine what will happen. That's why we have, the executive, the legislation, and of course, the judiciary. I want to stand on that EFCC, yes, you have done the needful. You have arrested, you have prosecuted, you have forfeited. I think there has to be an independent body, you know, hand it over to the professionals who know how to auction. Even the portal you did, it could have been handled in partnership. Because yes, you want to look at what they are doing. Max, they bring the money to you. what they will collect is their own commission for doing that. And you can actually agree on the amount of, I mean, the least you can auction. So if at all they now get more, whatever, it's a percentage sharing, right? For me, if I understand the body language of most Nigerians, it's an issue of money, 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 and
Yep.
possibly because some of these vehicles might be luxurious vehicles that we know now. Let's face the brutal fact: people are interested in getting it. Oh, that 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 mention a luxurious brand for me. That particular one that they have seized. I want all of you that you are always going into luxurious brands. So yeah, now mention one for me now. Oh yeah, mention Mercedes Benz, Lamborghini.
I don't do
All right, you know, it's also possible that there are some prime automobiles, that are
Yeah.
there. They're looking at, I think I want this and I want it at this price,
Yeah.
at this price. And if they should go through the professionals, you won't get it at that price. So these are things that, I mean, these are the human elements in all this. But this is my submission coming from a governance perspective. You cannot start and end a process. At some point, you should hand over at the point of selling. Since we already have a governing body and they are operating and they are professionals, in auctioning, they will do a better job than you doing it. That's my own submission. Except if there are superior arguments, and I believe that when they take it to court, the court will be able to interpret what is on ground.
Thank you so much, Vicky. When you speak about is it bodies that are supposed to be unbiased and objective, the INEC also comes to mind because
Mm,
there's been back and forth about, oh, they are biased, they're not objective, they're taking the side of the sitting president, sitting and the is it the ruling party sitting president. What would you say to that?
mm,
Because sometimes when you see, for me, like it's sometimes difficult to argue on behalf of these bodies because you can actually see what's going on, and
mm,
because of that you're like, how do you want to defend this one now based off of
mm,
what you're seeing? So is it that all the bodies that we have that's supposed to be responsible for bringing about law and order or bringing about justice, right? Have they been infiltrated? Is there hanky panky going? Hanky panky is one of my favorite words. Is there hanky panky going on there? What exactly is it? I'm just thinking to INEC because in the last 6 months, ever since what's his name, Professor Abubakar came into the seat, there's not been one time that we've heard that, oh, they feel, in fact, there's been a time they've called for him to be removed. Different things. Right now, they're saying, they're not, is, objective is not the word. Oh, what's that word? They keep on saying that, oh, they're
Well,
biased. Pardon, say that again?
mm,
I said neutral.
Neutral, thank you. They're not neutral. And in the case of this, that's why I said for the ICPC as well, for the AFCC, it's like because nobody has trust any longer in the AFCC,
mm,
is why we're going to the ICPC, right? As opposed to
mm,
when it should have just been, oh, for certain, it's not a, oh, small thing that happened, let's go to the ICPC. That's not what their role is for, right? But it
mm,
just seems like all these bodies have now been infiltrated and nobody even knows what to believe in. Nigerians are tired. Nigerians are wondering which way. I don't know. I'm
mm.
just speaking generally, but
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
go ahead, please.
The general perception, is that and it's valid. Honestly, it's valid, and I question the reasoning of the people who are in the House of Rep,
Yeah,
uh, also Senate at times,
they're not
that
doing their work.
this is something they should have looked at.
Yeah,
I'll still link it to the wires, report and all that, particularly on the issue of appointment of the INEC chairman. Yeah.
yeah. Being that it was the president that
I,
appointed him.
I the truth about it is that elections come and they are the ones in charge of elections. And we have seen over time, the body language, some things that do happen, and you begin to wonder that, but why would INEC agree to this? Why INEC is supposed to conduct a free and fair, credible election, and you hear clips, videos going around, and it's like, no, INEC should not have allowed this. Yes, they'll go to court, but we also know many a times, it's based on evidence. So if the wrong person does not have the right um, evidence, mhm, if it is the wrong person that has the right evidence, the court will sit down based on evidence and will pronounce the judgment. But however, what we are saying now is that a president comes through elections, and that president is seeking another election. Even if he's not even seeking it, possibly, yes, he has spent his 8 years and he still wants his party to continue. And by the law, you understand, it's constitutional. This president has the constitutional right to do what? To choose. So he chooses. And human beings, let's take it. Naturally, we are selfish. It's only a trained mind. It's only someone who has gone through, you know, a leadership disciplinarian process that will say, you know what, let me step aside from this my selfish self. Let me do what is right for the people. But naturally, that selfishness will come because you want somebody to protect you. It's natural, right? And you will now go ahead, present something. What is the process? Let's look at the process. You go ahead, you present the person, you let the person go through where? Senate. No be so. You say, okay, this is a person I put to, oh yeah, everybody come and look at it, come and look at this person, right? And then of course the Senate will confirm and say, okay, the person will come, they'll ask questions and all that, and then they'll say, okay, they're okay with it. But meanwhile, look at the constitution of the Senate. More than two-thirds are from the same party. I'm talking about the current one now. More than two-thirds are in the same party as the president. And we know the way our political terrain is. Everybody's looking for favors.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's looking for favors. So there's okay, if this is a person that the president has nominated, okay, let everybody flow. It will only take the guts of one person or some people that will say, no, we know the antecedents of this person. This person, is a party member. This person is associated with this. We've had it before, but what happened? Many people stood up, but what happened? Somehow, somewhere along the line, they killed it. Even concerning, the people who go into the states, what do they call them? The residential, whatever. I've forgotten it now. That they will say that this one is a party member of this. This one is associated. His husband is a political chief, whatever, whatever. But at the end of the day, they still stem it up. But linking it back to Wells' reports, and that is where I think we need to begin to dialogue. It's good that some of the recommendations the report came up with, some of them have been implemented. But this particular one, in choosing the INEC chairman, it has
Mm-hmm.
not been adopted because he mentioned that there has to be the National Judiciary Council should advertise when they receive their application. They see,
We have a
yeah.
call. Sorry, Bookie, to
Good
interrupt you.
morning, Evangelist.
Is he speaking?
Did you hear him?
No, we
Is that person speaking, but we can't hear him.
I think I'm a parent. No, I'm just together. I don't think we flat.
For me, can you hear him?
yeah.
We can join together. Now, can we do that? Is it problem? We don't. When we are treating each other like this, there's no way we plan expect God to make happen. This is we can't do it. Now, where are we taking this money to? I think that's how this is just 2.5 million. Where are we taking to? Yes, yeah. No. Because they would security people. And that's like, there's no something that you know, to, you meant to do what is that? You should learn to be in the care of God. Nigeria is great again. God bless the purpose and there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Dixon, for calling.
Can you summarize what he said because it was season?
I didn't hear him well. That was why I asked if you could
Oh,
hear.
okay. It wasn't just us. Okay. All right. I think okay. Bookie, please go ahead to continue, Prince.
All right, okay. It would have been lovely to hear what
What
he
he
said,
said,
but
yes.
Basically, what he
yeah.
was saying is that why would people use the name of Allah to kill creations of Allah? Nigeria wasn't like this. He talked about the insecurity in Kaduna, and he talked about the INEC. Tinubu saying INEC is neutral, and people saying INEC isn't. That's the summary of what he said.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, yeah. So there are concerns. There are concerns, and truly, there are concerns that why would um, people kill under the guise of the religion, the Muslim religion? There are concerns. People might not want to talk, but silently there are concerns. I have asked a lot of my Muslim friends that, is this right? Is this right? Because, when they conquer, they say all the things that they say, and it's like, and then of course they even say that, okay, for that religion, they don't want education, but meanwhile they're using sophisticated weapons. But these are things that we have to confront, right? And that is why I will always take the position that the Constitution is above any religion. When you begin to have a religion that is above the Constitution, you are causing wahala. That is the truth about it. Then he talked about the elections, yes, and which is what we're also looking at. That is it really right? Constitution says yes, the president has the right to nominate, presents it to the Senate endorses it. But we have also looked at it from the angle that even the Senate that wants to endorse it, everybody's looking for favor. It is either they are coming back, you understand, or they want to bring in their own person who will continue their own legacy, and they also want to allow their party, to stay there. Right now, we're even talking that, like I mentioned, it's more than two thirds. If my percentage would help me out today, almost 80% of the people have defected into APC. You understand? So even when you want to talk, it will only take maybe you being a man that you are ready to face opposition and you are ready to step down to say no, this is wrong. This person cannot be the INEC chairman because hey, you have some strings attached to us. But that is the constitution. Except we now go back, you know, for a reformation to reform that and change that bill. Yeah, nothing wrong in their considering the last report. Like I said, there were some things that they brought about, and they're doing it. One of it is this electronic whatever. He mentioned it, right? And then of course the fact that INEC should have their own direct was not going through any intermediary, so that nobody will come and say, I'm going to release your money if you do this for me, if you do this bidding. But meanwhile, the person that is the INEC chairman is nominated by the president. And what is Zua saying? He's saying, look, there's a National Judiciary Council. Let them advertise this thing. Anybody who is interested, you already have your criteria, you shortlist. Then let it now go to the Council of State. Then the Council of State will now select one candidate. So you can see the process.
Yes.
Right? Then this person is now presented to the Senate for confirmation. Yes, they can come with a bit of tricking here and there, but it has gone through a process. Not that I am here, I want my party, I am selfish, right? Because let us understand human beings. I am selfish, I want my party to rule, to continue to rule. Okay, let me look for somebody who will be loyal to me. And do you know what? Even the INEC chairman, it will only take a man of God, a man of integrity, to say, you know what? Yes, you have appointed me, you understand, to do my job, and I will do my job. But I will not look the other way. I am guided by laws. I will not look the other way. We celebrated this professor, this woman, what's her name now?
The MBA president.
No, not that one. The how am I forgetting? What do you call the independent residents, whatever, the people in charge of the states for elections? What do you call them? There was this professor, a woman.
I don't recall.
Oh, there was a professor. She's a VC of I think one of the Eastern universities and all that. Despite the fact that people gave her money, she stood her ground that I'm here to do my job, right? And nobody will tamper with the elections, with the results of the elections. She was celebrated because she came out, strong. I know she must have faced a whole lot of battle behind the scene because people wanted her to change the results. And she said no. She said no. But meanwhile, we have other people that we know that they changed the results even before you got to the collecting center. You understand? What are we saying today now?
Oh, is it Professor Mrs. Oti you wanted to mention, former VC of photos?
Yes.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if we have that process that this is clear, it is not biased, people will trust INEC to say yes, it went through a process, and the person that came out will do justice. And meanwhile, the person who came out, because you also have gone through process, you are not loyal to anybody. Your loyalty will probably be when you are submitting the form. But because you have gone through process, yes, you might go behind the scene to say, please, help me here. But because they also will have a framework that will guide them. The person who you are going to select must have the highest, this must have the da. It has gone through process. Unlike what we have now, The president just looks, okay, sees CVs, he goes behind, and we all know that President Tinubu is a strategist. Let's not beat about the bush on that one. He knows what he wants. Yes, he will look around, scan around, do everything, and say, okay, you know what, this person I want to use, I want to use him. Yes, the person might be good technically, but body wise, human being wise, the person somehow will also be a loyalist, and that is what the opposition is saying. So it's not about the crying wolf, but they are also saying that, hey, we are not comfortable with this, and it has always been in Nigeria. The opposition party will always talk, and I do not blame them. I don't blame them because the process of selecting the INEC chairman is faulty. The residential, why am I forgetting the names of these people that are in charge of the states for election? I mean, if they are also just appointed. They don't go through process. What process do they go through? So the person who has nominated you, who has pushed you forward, you want to be loyal to that person in one way. There are some things that will happen that you probably want to speak out, but you don't want to speak out. You probably look at the other side. I think that is what the opposition is saying, and it's time for it's well, to be honest, what took you to a particular position is what will sustain you. If
Yeah,
corruption that position, it is corruption that will sustain you. I wanted
yeah.
to, it is air time that the people in our Senate and House of Rep look at that. But I now remember that how did most of them even get there self? That now they are now there, they now want to change. It's difficult, and that's why we keep saying that these present people might not be able to change so much. And that is why I keep saying to everybody who wants to listen to me, we are coming to 2027. Don't just don't just vote based on party line when it comes to your House of Assembly, House of Rep, and then the Senate. Look at the person, the individual person. Yes, he's representing a party, but don't vote along party lines. You
Hmm.
understand that this person will be able to do justice to us, come up with proper bills, support the right bills, step down bills that are not right, get the body language in the chambers, and do what is right. If we have a critical mass, there, then it will be very, very good when you're saying that two-thirds of the house should support one, because then that two-thirds is not is not all of from one party like we have now. It's more than two-thirds. So anything that the president says, all of them, they'll just stamp it. But they will come and say they are not stampers. But we know.
All
So that's
right.
today.
All right, let's take some
Apologies
messages.
for strength
Yes.
of time, but let's take the messages before we go.
Hmm.
Good morning to you in the studio. The federal government needs to use maximum force on the sponsors sponsors of insecurity in Nigeria, because with how the Orire students and their teachers in Oyo State were rescued, it's clear that these people are Nigerians. Before now, the Northern elders always told us that they were not Nigerians, but now we all see they are Nigerians. My advice to the federal government and state government is that both should activate the death penalty for anyone convicted by the apex court. And Peter Obi, in his aspiration to be president of Nigeria, claimed that the majority of his commissioners as governor of Anambra State were Muslims. Where did he get them from? Additional Wasir from Ikorodu. The killings of citizens in Kaduna must be condemned by all. It's, however, unfortunate that some gloat and push political narratives when such tragedies happen. That anyone could seek to make political capital and gain from such happenings removes humanity from such hearts. I salute the President for the order to security agents to fish out the killers. Oloshoga Ajayi from Udonlai Korodu. That's it for the messages this morning.
Yeah, we've come to the end of the daily news review program, I thought we were going to be able to touch on um the xenophobia because as I yesterday, over the weekend, we saw headlines that the president snubbed the embassy from South Africa, and I was like, what are you expecting? First of all, I'm so proud of them because normal, like I was looking at them with two eye. I be one eye. But if you mistakenly accept those people after they've done all the rubbish that they want to do, it's just now you're realizing that we've destroyed diplomatic relationships with all the countries. You're now going from country to country to country to country to go and restore it. Too late. Uh, as I yesterday I saw that a popular South African singer is billed to perform in Nigeria, and there's been quite a few reactions where they should cancel, they should not give her visa and all of that because I think Ira Star wasn't given to go to South Africa. I mean, all these things. Yesterday, I was crashing out yesterday because of the state of Nigeria, and I said one of the things I've realized that our government officials, our leaders, is that they do not think, and I would dare say it's the same for most African presidents or African rulers. They don't think before they make a decision. They make a decision and realize, oh, we've entered one chance, like in the case of xenophobia there. But oh well, all the best to everybody involved. Like I always say, Bookie, thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Daily News Review. It was quite
Yeah, thank
an
you.
interesting one. See you at 9:05 for her lunch. Up next
All
is the
right,
news
thank
at
you
9
very much.
o'clock.
Thank you.
Go for it,